Hello everybody, Disciple here with Overwatch Curios. As we continue going through all of the wealth of information we gained from BlizzCon, it's kind of hard not to discuss one of the most interesting and amazing pieces of info that came from the event, despite how briefly it might have been talked about. During one of the panels, the Overwatch team showed a slide from the original pitch deck that they used to promote the idea of Overwatch in the wake of Titan's cancellation. This slide features a wealth of characters that the team was working on or looking to add into Overwatch. It features names of these heroes, some art, most of which came from work that was previously being done on Titan, as well as a list of certain abilities or weapons that these different heroes might have had. Now, when you take a good look at the image, there's actually a ton of heroes presented that never saw the light of day. Some of them have since been reimagined as heroes currently in the game, but many are still not a part of Overwatch yet. So for this video, we're going to take a look at some of these early heroes that have been since removed from Overwatch and talk about their abilities and possibly even roles and playstyles and what they could have been if they were in the game today. Now, the first of these heroes, presumably named Mastermind, is featured up at the top left. Most of the slide is cut out of the presentation, so it makes it a little hard to imagine exactly what was going on with him. We can make out that he wields a dark matter gun and has some sort of orb and sphere ability, however their function remains a sort of mystery. He's very alien in appearance with a heavy suit of armor and purple tubes around his helmet, not unlike those of Moira. It's pretty unlikely, however, that he was any sort of precursor to Moira, since when we interviewed Jeff Goodman, he said that Moira was a pretty straightforward hero and was pretty independent in her ideation all the way through her creation. Now after that, we have Phoenix, who unfortunately once again is cut off a bit. From what we can make out though, he definitely had a flamethrower and also an ability called Explode. He wears a suit of armor in the same style of Genji's and looks like he may have even had some type of jetpack on his back. It's not unlikely to think that a flamethrower could be added to a hero in the future of Overwatch, and it'd be unique to see what the development team could do with more sources of damage over time. Currently, there's only a few sources of such effects, and they make for a great addition to characters focused around area denial or space control. With a name like Phoenix, maybe it's possible that this explode ability caused the hero to physically explode and deal damage to those nearby, or ignite them in flames. While it wouldn't be a new mechanic given D.Va's mech, it's still a plausible concept with that name, and maybe a cool ultimate could be if his ultimate is up and he dies, he explodes and is reborn and can continue the fight. Now just below Phoenix is Endel. Unfortunately, the beginning of this name is cut off. However, what can be made out is the words Shock and Electrocute for two of his abilities. Thematically, he looks like a crossover between Tracer and McCree, with pilot goggles and art that resembles something along the lines of Tracer's Chronal Accelerator on his jacket, and a smug and badass grin complete with a cigarette like McCree. The electric blue Endel is probably where some of the concepts for future Winston came from. If you look over at Winston just briefly, you can see that his abilities in this original design include a flak shotgun and another ability that was since removed, Pound. It's likely that whatever gun Endel might have had instead had been moved to Winston when they stepped towards making Winston a more tank-oriented character focused on science. Shock and Electrocute are interesting because they both have a similar meaning, so it's possible that one of these abilities might be a quick burst of damage while the other one might stun targets or incapacitate them in some other way. Now Watcher, the next hero, seems like her concepts may have been used to help produce the first iteration of Mercy, who is also shown on the page as well. A shadowy and mysterious figure, Watcher wields a staff gun and has the ability to teleport, and a second ability called Transfusion. We know from previous comments that the team was originally trying to find a way to make Mercy's staff contain a gun before they decided to make the transition to the dual weapons setup, so this seems pretty likely actually. Also, a teleport ability might have been too powerful for a support hero, which explains why Moira was actually listed as having a teleport but doesn't actually have one. Giving a support hero the option to travel across the map so quickly might be pretty hard to counterplay even for the most agile flanker. Now Freak is a hero who looks like a perfect fit for a member of the Los Muertos. With neon coloring and a very punkish vibe, he'd be a perfect fit for that org's aesthetic. Now hopefully Overwatch begins to flesh out both the Los Muertos gang and the Junkers in the future heroes, because both are this darker side of the Overwatch world, while still not being exactly connected to Talon, from which the two latest heroes have come, Doomfist and Moira. While it's hard to deduce too much from the picture and the vague ability names in regards to Freak's role in the game, the one that stands out the most is Attract. This sounds like it could have been an early form of Graviton Surge or even Orissa's Halt, and it may have been an ability that pulled enemies together toward a targeted location in some way so his teammates could deal tons of damage. Now, Huntress is a hero who seems to have eventually been absorbed into Hanzo. As we know from the developers, the initial concept of Hanzo included both Hanzo and Genji in a singular form, the Omniblade. Eventually, a split was made to separate the sword-wielding Genji from the archer Hanzo, and thus Genji was born. Huntress is displayed here in a classic suit of armor that seems fitting of the Overwatch world, with valves and tubes plugged in across the armor and a very classic Overwatch visor as well. However, the reason for the speculation behind combining her with Hanzo is this one ability, Multi-Shot, which thematically sounds to function pretty much the same as Hanzo's Scatter Arrow. While it's not directly obvious what Imbue Shot could do, the shot quite obviously had some sort of additional effect upon hitting. Maybe in the early stages of design the effect was too powerful, or maybe it was a bit too weak, since if you're landing the arrow anyway, then you probably don't need an additional effect since you're probably going to kill your target. So instead the team looked towards adding the tracking effects and some sort of utility like we got from the Sonic Arrow. Now, Jeff Kaplan describes the next hero as the one who he hopes to make it into Overwatch at some point in time. Momma Hong is pictured here in a bathrobe, her hair curlers and a cigarette in her mouth. Jeff goes on to say that she has been very controversial among the team, but leaves us wondering on what front she may be controversial. Unfortunately, we're not able to see all of her original concept abilities, however the one that we can read is simply called Manslaughter. If it functions exactly as it reads, it'd be pretty safe to say that a one-hit kill effect might indeed be very controversial, or it could be some other sort of very powerful ultimate. Just look at Doomfist if you need any further evidence towards that point of a one-shot kill maybe being a bit too strong. Now hopefully down the road we can see some more of her, even if she's just fleshed out inside of a comic or animated short, but it'd be really interesting to see what else the team has had in mind for bringing an interesting character like this into life in the world of Overwatch, where most people are strong and powerful and your typical hero types, with a few exceptions. Now the next visible hero, Rashi, is a futurized version of a classic Templar or Knight, and in a world where she was released, likely fought alongside the likes of Reinhardt. She wears a very classic suit of armor with an ornate half-sun crescent on her helmet, and is quite obviously another healer that never saw the light of day. She has several damaging moves and one heal simply called Mass Heal, so it's possible that she was another sort of combat support along the lines of Zenyatta, but it's meant to be a frontliner, with limited but powerful healing and the downtime spent primarily assisting in DPS. Moira is another hero that has also had a shift towards a support, with also focusing on being able to deal damage as well, so hopefully this trend can continue and provide us with some more flexible and fun supports that can fit a pretty wide variety of playstyles, which Overwatch has done a pretty damn good job of. Now Yetzi is a hero that doesn't seem to exactly fit in the world of Overwatch as it is today, so it's easy to see why in the end he was removed from the game. However, it's very likely that Winston's Yeti skin was actually an homage to the original concept for this hero. Yetzi was a melee-oriented hero who specialized in using his claws to deal damage as opposed to any weapons, however had Frost's abilities to augment his damage and provide him with control as well. Ice Storm presumably could have functioned much like Mei's ultimate today, and may in fact be where the original concept for her Blizzard came from. Now on top of that, he also has Freeze Snap, which wouldn't be a stretch for a name of something like the current iteration of Ice Block, so he could have actually been a precursor of Mei, looking a little bit like Winston as well. Now when you pair this with the likes of Frost, it's easy to imagine these two heroes making up the entirety of Mei's kit. Frost directly had an Ice Wall ability as well as an Ice Pick for a weapon, which is something we know that Blizzard entertained as an option way back when they first began designing Mei. Well, alright everybody, so there's simply so many heroes to discuss that we're gonna have to come back another time and look at these again. We hope that you guys enjoyed a lot of our BlizzCon coverage, and we still have a few videos coming out since there was so much information from all the hours of panels and interviews that were done throughout the event, and we really enjoy being able to delve so deep into the history of Overwatch. Having the opportunity to look back at all of these original hero concepts and theorize what could have happened to them, why some of them never made it to release, and still how others have inspired heroes we have today has been a ton of fun. If you've ever enjoyed this topic as much as us, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, and of course, maybe subscribe to the channel to see our next videos on BlizzCon coverage, as well as some of the other stuff we've been cooking. Until next time, peace.